In the classical Shaiva tradition, there are, they say there are 4 upayas, 4 approaches to the ultimate reality or the ultimate truth of our own existence. But in fact, there are only 3 approaches, because the 4th is the ultimate reality. And so the 3 approaches are the Anavopaya, which is practice. And Anavopaya extends from anything that has to do with the body, like asana practice, sitting in meditation, pranayama. For me, that's the boundary. Later, Abhinavagupta moves the boundary a little bit and changes it so that even mantra practice is included in Anavopaya. But earlier there was a different idea. In any case, there's Anavopaya, and then there's Shaktapaya. Shaktapaya is the movement of the vital energy that is our essence beyond our physiology and our mind. It is the movement of the breath of life within us from the fluctuation of the physical breath to that point where the physical breath merges into the natural respiratory process of the mind that is perception and cognitive capacity. And finally, Shambhavupaya is the dissolution of all of the boundaries in our perception that have to do with anything related to our individuality, so that we understand and experience ourselves as connected in and permeating the entire environment in which our life experience is being expressed. We sit in meditation, we do yoga, we do pranayama, and we do these things primarily to come to the experience of our own creative energy, our own vital energy, and the structure that it is expressed through that underlies our physical body, which means chakras and channels. But that process of vital energy is just not related to chakras and channels. It is also related to the total environment, in which the respiratory process of the chakras and the channels is happening. So that, every time we breathe in and breathe out, our mind is also expanding into our environment. It is taking in information as energy. It is internalizing that information and energy, shifting itself and releasing whatever is, was stored, which is now inappropriate to its database. We are constantly in a state of flux, which brings us to finally the understanding that, we are that this field in which we exist is our total environment, which is constantly being internalized and externalized, and it is, including all the people that we we perceive and all the circumstances we experience, all the objects that, of our senses, which we are an object of ourselves, is really one dynamic process, totally interconnected. So, we sit in meditation and we try to find and experience, feel this respiratory process happening. The biggest obstacle to that is our mind. Right, Corey? The mind just is all over the place. And these unruly minds, just drag us around the block constantly. So we practice, and we practice, and we practice. And if you ask me, the simplest, easiest, fastest, most fun way to really discover your energetic mechanism and to cultivate a high degree of sensitivity to your own vital processes is to practice yoga regularly and have a period of meditation daily. Doesn't have to be real long. It just has to be you taking the time to sit down and feel into yourself and begin to experience the breath in you that is inside the breath. And then move through that with that in your day. I said earlier that the biggest obstacle in the whole process is self-doubt. I think the end of our beginnership is when we no longer deal with self-doubt. And the reason I bring this up especially is because the moments in our day which provide us the opportunity to have the biggest experience of flow within ourself in our environment. And the biggest opportunity to really learn about our mind is that critical moment when self-doubt emerges and is starting to take hold of us. And that becomes the moment in which our practice really has to stand us in good stead. And if we practice, that is the moment in which we will be stood in good stead, where we will find within ourselves a deeper resource and the possibility of freeing ourselves from some small picture, short-term set of boundaries that we have accumulated, built up in ourselves, from our youth and because of our parents, where we've made reactionary, poor decisions which may have facilitated some short-term reward, but over the long haul deny us the possibility of having any kind of self-esteem. The simplest, I think, most brilliant tool for dealing with self-doubt is, the Anavupaya tool that Rudy created, which is the wish to grow. Now, in all the Indian spiritual traditions, whether it's Buddhism or Shaivism or Vaishnavism, devotion is essential. And devotion is essential because devotion continually brings us back to our heart. Devotion is the tool by which we can break down all of the accumulated tensions of our lack of self-esteem, all of the accumulated weight of our own self-doubt, and lift our spirits to a place within ourselves where our energy is activated and flowing. Devotion. In all the systems, devotion is essential. And here, what we are devoted to is growing spiritually, which means growing ever closer to the truth of our own existence, growing ever more aware of and rooted in the awareness that we are nothing but energy, and this total environment is curtains of light, permeated at its most refined dimension by only one mind, permeates the whole. That mind has one thought: I wish to grow. I wish to grow is the only thing on the mind of Shiva. And the brilliance of it is, on the one hand, it is a recognition of our limitations. It's an acknowledgement of the tensions that we carry. It is an admission of our faults and our mistakes. Not in public, you don't have to do that. We're not floggers here. I got over that when I was an altar boy. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Ideo precorbianum. Still in there somewhere. Once that Latin gets wired into your brain, it never goes away. All right? In any case, wish to grow is a brilliant tool that acknowledges the reality of our physical existence and our mental and emotional tensions and our physical body and the struggles that we have in our daily life, even as it is also recognizing the possibility of transcending all of that and arriving at an understanding of our ultimate reality, which is extraordinary. A recognition of the beauty that is forever present inside us and the unimaginable possibility that is present as this life. So in those moments when we encounter any self-doubt, rather than collapse into a puddle or a ball of tensions or anything, if we could release that tension and turn our awareness to the wish to grow and begin to feel within ourselves our energy centers, and with that wish to grow, take it deeper and deeper and deeper connection to our energy centers till we have a natural innate experience of the devotion that resides within us as beauty, as joy. And, slowly but surely we are transformed. And this doesn't take a long period of time. Well, it takes a little bit of time to develop the skill and to have the experience. You got to practice some. But you practice until, you sit and practice every day till you really have an experience of the flow and you have the awareness that you can lift yourself within the flow anytime you choose. Then moving through your day, in your ordinary day, that becomes the context of your practice. Connecting, aligning yourselves, connecting, flowing, from within yourself in all the activities and with all the people that you share your life with. That becomes, a context for your practice. And finally, you settle every day within yourself in the place where you are aware, even as you move about in your day, that the reality of you has nothing to do with this physical body or all of the movement that it's going through. The reality of us is a profoundly refined, sweet, and beautiful possibility which that presents itself as health and well-being, and understanding that heals and transforms our environment. Applying the upaya model to the wish to grow, we become established, and this takes practice, we become established in a place within ourselves in which it doesn't matter what we do anymore. Doesn't matter how much money we have or don't have. Doesn't matter, anything. Nothing matters, because our hearts radiate joy and gratitude. And the thing is, at the end of our life, when we all come to death's door, at death's door, saint, sinner, 1%, 99%, how much time you've spent in jail, none of that matters one shit. At death's door, only one thing matters. Only one thing. And that is there a bright enough light in your heart to scare away the devil? Truly. I mean, that's a kind of a Catholic way of putting it, but it works. Is the light in your heart bright enough to scare away the devil? The wish to grow, if you ask me, I think it's a brilliant tool. I think Rudy was brilliant. It's a brilliant tool that you can sit with and asking in your heart, connected to your breath, more and more deeply, to say to yourself again and again, I really deeply wish to grow. And relaxing your body and feeling it again and again, cultivate an intense feeling within yourself that that's really what your life is about. Because, friends and neighbors, the simple fact is, we're all here for one reason. Everybody on the planet is here for one reason, and that reason is to grow. Every living thing that exists on this planet exists for one reason, and that is to grow. And all the diversity and all of the environments exist for one reason, and that is to support growth. Not economic growth like in the capitalist model, that's a bunch of hooey. You have a brilliant tool which doesn't deny your tensions, which isn't a suppression of anybody's shortcoming. It's in fact an admission of it all. At the same time is a recognition that there is an unimaginable possibility and profound abundance within us that is available to us if we can connect to it and hold the space long enough for it to begin to express itself. And to hold the space long enough, you have to be able to disperse your self-doubt. And the only reason I'm still sitting here after 45 years is because I have experienced again and again, when we do that, miracles happen. And I wish miracles for all of you. Namaste.